It's 2.0 day! So I took a nap, that's why I look tired. I just kind of woke up a bit. And I am heading off to Denver. Now, I don't know how interesting this vlog would end up being because it's basically just me driving for an hour, then that's it. So I'll film it, and if there's anything interesting that comes out of it or whatever, I'll try and get some pictures or something on the inside of the theater, you know, just so you guys can get an idea of how many people are going to be there. But again, don't expect anything crazy. I know some people are sending me videos from India with, you know, everybody going crazy and throwing things and dancing and, you know, the normal kind of Rajinikanth film, or a lot of, you know, famous actor first day theater watches, but that doesn't happen in the US, so you're not going to get that. And it's 3 p.m. on a Thursday, so most people are going to see it either yesterday or tomorrow or tonight. So I would be surprised if the theater is full, but I'll see what I can do, get some pictures. Can't really film people without too much permission, so maybe I can get some interviews, I don't know, we'll try. But let's go, I gotta get down there, so let's drive. It's a long drive. Alright, let's drive. I made it. It was actually pretty good, almost no traffic. There was one part where I thought I was gonna get traffic, but then it lightened up, it was nice. So, very smooth, easy drive. I think I made it here in about 45 minutes instead of an hour. Went pretty quick. So that's awesome. I always like it when that happens. But here I am, ready. Movie starts soon, so I'm gonna go hand in my online thing, get my ticket, and head on in.
Revenue Enterprises is hiring for
I'm in the theater,
customer service.
but I'm the only one in here.
We offer competitive wages, stable hours, paid time off, 401k, healthcare
Commercials.
benefits, and bonus opportunities. Apply at Revenue Enterprises
Now,
/careers.
these seats are awesome. It's too dark for you guys to see them, but maybe you could see that. These chairs are awesome. They're very comfortable, they recline. Heck yeah, this is gonna be good. Good experience. I wanted to walk over here because it's too loud in there with the commercials, but don't take the theater being empty and me being the only one seeing it as a negative on the movie. I have to remind you again, it is 3 p.m. on a Thursday. Everyone either saw it last night, which I talked to the lady up front, and she said it was packed last night when they did the the Wednesday showing. And they'll probably get more tonight and tomorrow and during the weekend. So 3 p.m. on a Thursday, not so many people, but at least I won't have much distraction. I'll be able to concentrate on the film, which is good for my review. But I am interested in seeing your videos of being in the theater in your area. I like seeing some of those crazy videos. They're pretty fun. So send them to me. All right, so I just saw 2.0, and yeah, I liked it. It was fun. I'm not gonna say it's the best movie ever made, but it's a good one, and I'm gonna get into it. Right about now, you guys will see my review. So this is my honest opinion. Some people may hate me for it. Some people may love me for it. I really don't know what the response is going to be, but I do have a feeling that some people are not going to like it and some people are going to like it, and then some people are going to wonder. I don't know, we'll see. So comment below and let me know your thoughts on the film. I do suggest seeing it in 3D because I thought the 3D was done very well. The only problem is the cost is really high. I think it costs like $25 for me to see the movie tonight. So you may want to wait till the second weekend if the prices go down. But 25 was a lot, and I know, and I went to a matinee, so it's cheaper. Some people that would see a later showing, they'll end up paying up to like $30 for a ticket. And I think that's a little too much. So if you're on the fence about watching it, I would probably wait a week or two until the prices go back to normal. But if you can see it in 3D, I suggest doing it because the 3D was very well done. Now I've got to drive an hour, actually probably an hour and a half now because I got to go through traffic. There's going to be traffic on the way home. And then I'll start working on my reviews. So for me, it'll be a couple hours. For you, it'll be like right now.
That's good.
Hey everybody, Koricon here, and 2.0 is a Tamil film directed by Shankar and starring Rajinikanth coming back as Dr. Vasigaron and Shetty. I know I probably pronounced his name wrong and I'm sorry. And Akshay Kumar is coming in as our villain, Pakashi Rajan. He's our villain, and Amy Jackson is another robot named Nila. Now, this was a fun movie. Now, this is a most expensive movie to come out of India to this date. And there was a lot of stuff going on in the background with this film, troubles with, post-production and all of this other stuff. So it's nice to see the movie finished and in theaters. And it was filmed in 3D. So it was filmed specifically for 3D with 3D cameras. So if you do end up seeing it in the theater, I would suggest seeing it in 3D, since that's probably going to be the only time that you will be able to see it in 3D. Most people don't own 3D TVs. That was kind of a fad that kind of went out. People don't really buy 3D Blu-rays anymore. So the only time you're really going to see it in 3D for the most part is going to be in the theater. So if you do end up seeing it, I highly suggest seeing the 3D. Now, that being said, there's a couple of things about 3D that I wanted to talk about. For one, when you have a movie made for 3D and you're using 3D cameras, there is a lot of temptation to have things go towards the screen all the time, just because you want to utilize that 3D and show that you're doing it. One of the things that I pointed out when I did my reaction review of the 3D featurette that they had earlier this year, that I was afraid they were going to have too many of those. And I don't think they had too many, but they did have a lot more than I was hoping for. There were maybe a dozen scenes that had things popping into the camera, which would have been, it's okay if you do that a couple of times. But when you do it that often, or too often, then when you watch the movie in 2D, those scenes just look silly. It is cool for the 3D effect, but I don't think you need to do it that often. So I think they did that maybe a few times too many. By the end of the film, I was like, okay, I get it, this 3D. But the 3D did look really good. So in that aspect, I didn't mind it. But I know if I watch it again in 2D, those scenes are going to feel a bit odd. Now, I normally don't watch movies in 3D. I'm not a big fan of it. I think for the most part, it's a gimmick to get people to spend more money on a movie ticket, because most movies are filmed in 2D and then converted using software, and that never really looks that good anyway. But when a movie is filmed in 3D specifically for it, then it does. And the 3D did look great. So I do highly suggest it. 2.0 is the sequel to Endhira, also called Robot, which came out with Rajinikanth. And the movie does pretty much take place, few years, half dozen years after the first movie. So the time scale is similar. And in this one, you have Shetty is disassembled and in a museum, just like at the end of Endhira. The human version, Rajinikanth's character, Dr. Vasigaron, is making a new robot who is Amy Jackson, called Nyla. She is like an assistant, a really nice, intelligent assistant. I liked her character. I thought Amy Jackson did a great job. She's insanely gorgeous. It's a little bit distracting, but I liked that her character had more to do. She was a kind of a major side character. She wasn't one of the like main characters, but she did have more to do than I was thinking they were going to have her do. But I would have liked to see her get more involved in the fight. I liked what she did in the film. It just would have been nice if she had more to do, because she was a robot. Why not just go all the way with it? Make her one of the heroes. So I would have liked to have seen Amy Jackson's character be a little bit more powerful, have something to do more with the fighting, helping out more than she did. But I did enjoy the stuff that they gave her to do. She didn't feel like she was just there to look pretty. They actually gave her things. Rajinikanth, he's basically being Rajinikanth. He did a good job as his characters. He plays Shetty and 2.0 and the Doctor and so on. He did it pretty much the same that he did in Endhira. The Shetty and all of them were very much the same like the first movie. Some of the fight scenes and stuff that had him in it, you could really see Rajinikanth's age. His physical ability to do things was minimal. And you can kind of tell. I wouldn't say it hurt the film, but it is obvious. So if you're a huge Rajinikanth fan, you're probably going to hate me for saying this. But I liked him in the movie. He's Rajinikanth. He did his job. He did what he was supposed to do. But for the scenes where he was supposed to be active as the robot, I think they should have had a stunt double in there to do some of those physical movements, because it didn't quite look right. But other than that, I enjoyed him. He had his swagger. He was very suave, and he was fun to watch on screen. Akshay Kumar did a great job as the villain, Dr. Rajan. He kind of surprised me. He was actually a lot better than I was expecting. I thought he would be a little too cartoonish from the trailers, but they gave him a believable backstory, which is very important for a villain. You have to have clear motivations and not just, I'm crazy. And so they gave him very clear motivations. You understood where the character was coming from. And I'm not going to get too much into spoilers. I'm not going to get into any spoilers, but one of the concerns I had watching the trailers is, how do they explain why he's only controlling cell phones? What is this and that? Where is he getting his powers from? The movie is very much of a superhero style film, a comic book style of characters and motivations and ways of getting powers. But there is an interesting kind of horror movie element to it that I think added a lot and was able to explain a lot of things that you can't explain with science. You're not going to be able to scientifically say that he can control cell phones only through magnetism or radiation or whatever else. But going the route that they did, it makes it better. Because in a comic book world, you can have any explanation. I just want one. And they gave a good one. I was able to easily accept it. And his character's motivations were great. I was on board with the villain. A.R. Rahman did the music. The background score and the music were great. I loved it. We didn't have any song and dance sequences. We did have one montage after the intermission. And the music video, which all of you have seen by now on YouTube, that is in the end credits. So it wasn't dropped in the film like I was worried it would be. Sometimes if they make a big music video like that, they'll try and just drop it in the movie, and I don't like that. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't flow with the story. But they didn't do that. So the flow of your story was not interrupted. If anything, the intermission that they had interrupted the story more than anything else. I pretty much would have liked no intermission and just had the 2.5 hours. The story flowed pretty nice. There were some moments where I thought they were drawing the scene out too long, but I was more of just kind of waiting for the next scene to happen. They could have made it tighter. It could have been brought down to closer to 2 hours if they wanted to make it really tight with no intermission, and I think it would have been great. But as it stands, I didn't mind But there are some scenes that I thought were drawn on a little too long, just maybe not to pad time, but it did make the movie longer than it needed to be. But the flow of how we got everything, the first half and explanation in the second half, and then our finale, all of that flowed really nicely. The information was brought to you in a good manner. And everybody wants to know, what are my thoughts on the CGI? Now, my thoughts on the CGI haven't really changed since I saw the last trailer, if you watched that trailer reaction. I thought it was really smart that they were using the cell phones as a particle element, in that you have a lot of small things that you're controlling and you're making shapes out of. When you use particle elements to make shapes, they can look a lot better on screen than if you're trying to make a realistic CGI character of a human or an animal. So I thought a lot of the CGI that dealt with the cell phones, especially the large bird, all looked great. I liked that. The CGI effects with Rajinikanth as Shetty, I thought weren't as good. When they had Shetty come back before he becomes 2.0, and he was still in the gray suit, which you see in the trailer, some of the CGI for his character in those action scenes didn't look quite right. The physics were a little off, like the gravity. Kind of reminded me of Blade 2. In Blade 2, some of the humanoid, when they made humans in the CGI characters, the gravity felt a lot heavier than it really was. And I could get a sense of that, but everything else looked great. Even when they had CGI of animals, because they had a lot of realistically looking birds, I thought those looked great. There were moments where you could tell it was CGI, but the feathers had great detail on them. The eyes, the way that they moved. I liked the CGI animals. The only really problem I had with some of the CGI was when they were doing Shetty. I don't think some of that CGI worked, and it could just be how it was animated, but the physics felt a little off. Overall, I had a lot of fun at the movie, even though I was really the only one in there, but it was a 3 p.m. showing on a Thursday. Everybody's going to be going either last night, which it was packed last night, according to the lady at the theater, and it will be packed probably right now or soon when tonight's showing happens, and tomorrow, this weekend, that will all be packed. But mine was empty, which was nice as a reviewer. I got to concentrate. But send me your videos of you guys in the theater. I like seeing those crazy videos of people going nuts. That would be a cool experience to have. But overall, I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed the movie. I'm going to give 2.0 a B+. One of the problems I have with some of these big Indian films that come out is they're so expensive on that first weekend. And I understand why it's expensive, is they're trying to make their money back. They don't get a lot of time in the theaters. Like some American movies can have 3 to 4 months in a theater. Some Indian movies maybe only get 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe. And we've got Zero and KGF coming up next month. Which, by the way, we did get one trailer before the movie here in the US, and it was for the Kannada film with Yash called KGF. If you haven't seen that trailer, you should check it out. It is something I'm definitely going to check out if it does come to my area in theaters in December. But the cost was too high. Like, it cost me $25 to see the movie, and I'm going during a matinee. It was probably $30 for some people. So if you're on the fence about seeing it, like you're not sure if you want to see it or not, but you wanted to check it out, I do highly suggest seeing the 3D version, but maybe wait a week or two until the prices level out, because I think it might be a little too expensive to just go and see if you're just curious. But if you're really excited and you wanted to go see it, by all means, go. And make sure to watch the 3D version. You can see the 2D version as many times as you want once it comes onto Blu-ray or DVD. But if you can get to the theater, you really should see the 3D, because they did a great job with that 3D. But let me know what you guys think. Comment below, let me know, and I will see you guys on the next video.